Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your boy Coozco, and I am back here with another Destiny 2 build video, and today we are on our Hunter with the Assassin's Cowl on. Now, this is an updated build just because I wanted to make sure that the mods that I had on were correct, and someone let me know that Bountiful Wells counts as another well on top of your other well mods that you have on. So basically, if I have 3 melee wellmaker mods on and then I have Bountiful Wells on top of that, I will still drop 4 elemental wells every time I get a melee kill, because the Bountiful Wells counts as one of those wells. Therefore, I was able to put 1 Bountiful Well mod on. On top of that, I put 3 melee wellmakers on, and then I also used increased melee damage with Well of Ions on an arc piece of gear. So therefore, we will always have this arc damage buff with our melee, and we will always be dropping wells because our melee is our main source of damage. We will not be relying on any of our weapons, so we need our melee to stack up with top tree arc. Make sure that if you have this build on, you are running top tree arc, because combination blow is what is going to get you that 3 times stack, increasing your melee by a great deal and also triggering health regeneration. Now, that health regeneration comes in so handy when you are using Assassin's Cowl. I know that everyone likes to use Liar's Handshake for their main source of damage when they are talking about a melee hunter. However, I believe Assassin's Cowl with the right build is better, just because of the survivability that you have with this and the amount of healing that you can get back on top of the Assassin's Cowl's healing. You do not have to wait for your second punch to get that healing. You get that healing straight off of killing an enemy. And it doesn't matter if that is the first punch or the second punch, as Liar's Handshake cross counter regenerates health and deals extra damage. However, if you actually go into what it says using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. That is your second punch, and you will be able to tell that is your second punch because the top of his fist right here, he will actually stab the enemy with the top of his fist, activating that cross counter, instead of just using Assassin's Cowl, being able to get that insane melee damage, and on top of that, your powered melee final blows, which you will have your melee all the time because of your dodge. And I will go into that right after this, but however, powered melee final blows grant invisibility and restore a portion of health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets, champions, any yellow health enemies, increases the duration of the invisibility and the amount of health and shields restored. Now this, on top of the healing that you get from combination blow, heals you instantly. It heals your whole health bar. There is no reason to run recovery on this build because your recovery is literally an instant heal off of a melee kill. Now, the dodge I was talking about is Gambler's Dodge. This is going to make it to where we will always have our melee ability because we will always be nearby enemies, and that is when we are going to activate our dodge. Right after we get our melee kill and turn invisible, you want to dodge right after to make sure that you have your combination blow. If you don't have your combination blow active and you're like me and you have your powered melee set to a different keybind than your normal melee, there will be times when you are literally just staring at someone, wondering where your melee ability is, and then you realize that you have your Gambler's Dodge still and you never used it. So just keep that in mind while you are using this build. On top of that, I like to run Arc Bolt Grenade to get rid of any exploding enemies. So make sure that if you are running a grenade, Arc Bolt is probably the best choice for you because of the exploding enemies that get a little too close sometimes, and you do not want to melee them because that is an instant death. As for your weapons, you only need one thing, and that is 1-2 punch on any shotgun. If you have 1-2 punch on your shotgun, you will see that insane increased damage that is going to let you take down bosses. It's going to let you take down the champions. It's going to let you take down the barriers. It's going to let you take down everything. So just make sure that you have that 1-2 punch on one of your shotguns at least. If you do not, I don't recommend using this build maybe you can have some fun with it, but get that 1-2 punch as quick as you can so you can try this out. Now, on our helmet, we are running melee Wellmaker. Like I said, we are running 3 melee Wellmakers, so I just have one on my helmet right here. I also have hands-on mods just so I have my super whenever I need to pop it. However, you are not really going to be using your super because you do more damage outside of your super. Now, melee Wellmaker makes it to where you drop a well off of every single melee kill. Moving on to our gauntlets, we have another melee Wellmaker, and then on our chest plate as well, we have another melee Wellmaker. And of course, you can run your defensive or resistant mods right here in the middle if you would like that as well, but I am just running my melee Wellmaker with sniper damage resistance and melee damage resistance just because we are always going to be nearby people. And then this is where your bountiful wells is going to come into play. On your next armor piece, you are going to run bountiful wells. This is going to count as your 4th arc well. So after this, you will not need any more melee Wellmakers. And then on top of that, this is the extra increased damage that I was talking about, the Well of Ions. Now this is the increased melee damage on top of your combination blow and on top of your 1-2 punch shotgun. So as you can see, we are just stacking melee damages and making it to where this build is still survivable and you're not being seen by enemies because you have invisibility on an arc subclass. Now, Well of Ions states, picking up an arc elemental well causes your next melee to deal increased damage. If you are running bountiful wells and on top of that 3 melee Wellmaker mods, you will be dropping 4 wells every single time you get a melee final blow. And this makes it to where your Well of Ions will literally always be active. You will not see a second where your Well of Ions isn't active, especially if you are in combat. And not only that, the bonus is actually for quite a good amount of time. So once it runs out, chances are you will have already found your next enemy and you will already have dropped some wells on the ground. And once that timer runs out, it will just restart because you are running over all those wells that you just created. Now that is basically it for the build. Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Make sure you all appreciate everything and everyone around you. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.